Should you judge a book by its cover? I think so. And here's why. All throughout my schooling, whether it was elementary school, high school, and even some professors would always say, do not judge a book by its cover. And I think that's absolute BS, all right? Obviously, what matters is the content, but the artwork as well is a fundamental part of deciding whether or not you are going to begin reading that book or not. I recently watched a video by the YouTube channel of Life on Books, and Tony had brought up a very interesting point. If we prescribe to this scholarly idea of foregoing our cognitive impressions on a beautiful book artistically, then we would need to go to the fiction section, for example, go to the A section and just move alphabetically. You take the first book off the shelf in the A category and you read until you figure out whether or not you like that book or not. That sounds so miserable, all right? It sounds so dystopian as well. Imagine if artwork wasn't allowed on books and you just had the title and the author, all right? It just says Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. That's it, okay? What happens to all the artists that create beautiful artwork, whether it's Fahrenheit 451 or The Godfather by Mario Puzo, another classic, book, or of course, Stephen King's It. Imagine the clown with the eerie smile, the creepy energy that's coming of it, never made an appearance on a book cover because we were told not to judge. Then what would be the point of trying to evoke emotions such as despair or anticipation or joy or horror? No, it just matters what is in the contents of the book and not the cover itself, because apparently that is not allowed. Apparently that is not what a smart individual does. They do not instantly go with one of their five senses and looks at something and appraises it visually as beautiful. No, we have to read the contents and then decide if we are interested in the book. Now, imagine if you read George Orwell's 1984 or you're thinking about it and you're looking at the cover, the American flag, and instead of the stars, it is eyeballs. That is interesting. Oh, what could this mean? Does it mean maybe Big Brother? Does it mean that all the states in the country are full of surveillance? Could it mean something else? That mystery, that part of their brain that is curious about what the artist and or publisher are trying to, evoke emotionally into you, that would be all lost. That sounds absolutely horrible. Imagine that we all decided to not care about book covers. Artists would lose their jobs and would potentially be replaced by AI because, publishers are going to cut costs. Hey, if nobody cares about book covers, nobody cares about the beautiful art that has been created for some great literary works, who cares? Just use a robot, something cold, lifeless, soulless. Let that take over our beautiful hobby. And for what? For greed, for these ideas of don't judge a book by its cover. If you crank it up all the way to 100 or close to it, doesn't sound good. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't sit well with me, and I've seen a few videos about, what are your favorite book covers of all time? That is fun. Another, the Lit Wizard, for example, did a video recently just about that. That is fun. Being like, oh, this is a cool book because I like this cover, or this Stephen King novel definitely, the cover evokes the emotions or the creepiness that you're going to experience in that book. That is cool. Humans by nature are materialistic to some extent. So to completely ignore that or try to override that by some simple saying of do not judge a book by its cover is ridiculous, to say the least. Now, Tony from the Life on Books podcast had really hit the nail on its head here. How many books do you think you're going to get through in your life? Let's say, for example, you read 50 books a year. That, in my opinion, is a lot. That's a lot. I didn't read 50 books last year, and I'm probably not going to hit 50 books this year. But let's say you've got 50 more years of your life, and you read 50 books a year. That is 2,500 books, or even less. Let's assume 10 books per year. You're going to read 500 books the rest of your life. Okay? If we do not judge books by their cover and decide to read books no matter what the cover is, there's going to be a lot of disappointment, most likely. There's going to be a lot of trial and error and waste of time. It is very easy to purchase books. It is a whole other challenge to read books. That's why it is so important, in my opinion, to make decisions that are not just based on your brain and think critically about the content itself and be like, I don't judge the book by a cover. Imagine if the road, was a road of, rainbows and the cover was neon pink. That would evoke a very different emotion if it was dark, dusty, solemn. But no, I don't prescribe to that. I am above the human psyche. I am above what humans can comprehend. It is just colors. It's just shapes. It doesn't mean anything until I read the book. I'm sorry, not for me. Not for me. Okay, and to go further, we like collecting things, and that is totally fine. I am showing you my bookshelf because I think it looks cool. And if there are some cool cover arts that artists, humans, have created, yeah, I want to showcase that art. I want to be proud of what I own, but like, hey, look, this is my curated library. Here, by the way, here's a really cool edition of Stephen King, or here is this really cool, I think it was the 60th edition of The Godfather. It's white and gold, very different from its typical black and red. That's kind of a cool edition. Obviously, this is a library book, but the point still stands. Books are beautiful if you are allowed to put interesting art onto it. So let's not judge a book by its cover. So if this resonated with you, or you would like to hear about more larger book topics, let me know in the comments below. Give me a like if you liked the video, and give me a subscribe if you really, really liked the video. And what are your favorite book covers of all time?